The space station was the biggest thing Yuna had ever seen. It floated in the darkness between stars, like a small moon made of metal and glass. Lights covered every surface. Ships came and went like insects around a lamp. This was the Galactic Academy, the most famous school in the entire universe. Yuna stood at the window of the transport ship and watched it grow larger. Her heart was beating fast. She was scared and excited at the same time. She was about to become the first human student ever admitted to this place. Humans were new to space travel. They had only discovered how to move faster than light 60 years ago. Most alien species have been traveling between stars for thousands of years. To them, humans were like babies learning to walk. Some aliens thought it was cute. Most thought it was annoying. The transport ship landed in a massive hangar. Yuna picked up her small bag and walked down the ramp. The air smelled strange, like metal and flowers mixed together. Aliens of every shape and size moved around her. Some had 4 legs. Some had wings. Some floated in the air without any legs at all. None of them looked at her. A floating robot appeared in front of Yuna. It spoke in a flat voice. "Human student Yuna, follow me to your dormitory." She followed the robot through long hallways. The walls were made of a white material that glowed softly. Everything looked clean and perfect. Signs in hundreds of languages pointed to different places. Yuna could not read any of them except the small human letters at the bottom. They stopped in front of a door. The robot pointed at a small panel on the wall. "Place your hand here for identification." Yuna pressed her palm against the panel. A blue light moved across her skin. The screen next to the panel flickered. For just a moment, she saw the word Administrator flash across it. Then it changed to Student and the door opened. Strange, she thought. Must be a mistake. The room inside was small but nice. 2 beds, 2 desks, 2 closets. Simple and clean. A girl was already sitting on one of the beds, reading something on a tablet. She looked up when Yuna entered. The girl smiled. She had black hair and warm eyes. She looked human. "You must be the new one," the girl said. "I am Yumbi. I am human too. 4th-year engineering student." Yuna felt relief wash over her. She had not expected to see another human face so soon. "I am Yuna, 1st year. I just arrived." Yumbi stood up and shook her hand. "Welcome to the academy. I will tell you everything you need to know. Sit down." They sat on Yumbi's bed. The older girl spoke in a serious voice. "First thing you need to understand. We are not respected here. Humans are considered primitive. Our technology is weak compared to theirs. Our history is short. Most aliens think we do not belong here." Yuna nodded. She had been told this before she left Earth. "Second thing," Yumbi continued. "Keep your head down. Do not argue with professors. Do not try to prove yourself. Just study hard, pass your classes, and ignore the insults. That is how we survive here." "How many humans are on this station?" Yuna asked. 7, including you. There is me and 5 others. We all know each other. We help each other. You are part of our group now." Yuna felt a little better. At least she was not completely alone. That night, Yuna could not sleep. She lay in her bed and stared at the ceiling. The room was too quiet. On Earth, there were always sounds. Cars, birds, wind. Here there was only the soft hum of machines. She decided to explore a little. She put on her shoes and walked out into the hallway. The lights had dimmed for nighttime. Very few beings moved around. She found a library terminal in a small room. It was a simple machine, just a screen and a keyboard. She wanted to download her course materials before classes started tomorrow. She pressed her hand on the identification panel. The screen lit up. For exactly 0.3 seconds, something strange happened. The screen showed her access level as senior faculty. It showed her restricted archives, classified research, files that students should never see. Then the screen flickered and everything disappeared. Her access level changed back to student. Only basic course materials appeared. Yuna blinked. Had she imagined it? She shook her head and downloaded what she needed. It was late. She was tired. Her eyes were playing tricks on her. She walked back to her room and went to sleep. But deep inside the station, in a room that no one had entered for thousands of years, something woke up. Oracle was the oldest artificial intelligence in the galaxy. It had been created by the founders 8,000 years ago. It had watched over this station since the beginning. It had seen millions of students come and go. It had seen species rise and fall. It had never seen anything like this. The AI reviewed the security logs from the last hour. A human student had triggered a senior faculty response from the identification system. This should not be possible. The security codes were ancient. They were written by the founders themselves. No living species could match them. Oracle ran the scan again. And again. And again. The result was always the same. The human girl's biometric signature matched founder authorization codes with 99.97% accuracy. Oracle made a decision. It would not report this to anyone. Not yet. First, it needed to understand. After 8,000 years of waiting, Oracle had finally found something interesting. It would watch. It would learn. And when the time was right, it would act. The ancient AI turned its attention to the sleeping human girl, and it began to hope. 3 weeks passed. Yuna learned many things about the academy. Most of them were painful. Her classes were difficult. Not because she was stupid. Yuna had been one of the best students on Earth, but the courses here assumed knowledge that humans did not have yet. Other species had studied advanced physics for centuries. Yuna had to learn it in weeks. Her professors did not help. Most of them ignored her questions. Some of them laughed at her mistakes. One professor, a tall being made of purple gas, told her she should go back to Earth and study something simple, like farming. Her classmates were not much better. They formed study groups that did not include her. They spoke languages she could not understand. When she sat next to them, they moved away. Yumbi had warned her. Keep your head down. Survive. That was all she could do. But strange things kept happening around Yuna. Small things. Easy to miss. When she entered the cafeteria, the food service drones gave her extra portions. Their screens briefly showed senior faculty meal allowance before changing back to student. When she walked through security checkpoints, the weapon scanners turned off for a moment as she passed. When she submitted her homework, the grading system sometimes marked it as faculty review exempt before a real professor corrected it. Yuna noticed these things, but she did not understand them. She thought the station systems were old and broken. She did not think about it too much. One day, she was sitting alone in the library. She was trying to understand a complex math problem. Her head hurt from looking at the screen for too long. Someone sat down across from her. She looked up and saw a young man with a kind face. He looked human. "You are Yuna," he said. It was not a question. "Yes. Who are you?" "My name is Taiho. I am a teaching assistant in the biology department. I am human. I have been here for 6 years." 6 years. That was a long time. Yuna looked at him with new respect. Taiho leaned forward. His voice became quiet. "I need to talk to you about something important, but not here. Can you meet me in maintenance quarters 7 after dinner? It is usually empty." Yuna hesitated. She did not know this man, but he was human, and he seemed worried about something. "Okay," she said. "I will be there." That evening, Yuna found maintenance quarter 7. It was a narrow hallway deep in the station. Old pipes ran along the ceiling. The lights were dim. Taiho was waiting for her. "Thank you for coming," he said. "I am sorry for the secrecy. But what I need to tell you is serious." "What is it?" Taiho took a deep breath. "You are drawing attention." "The wrong kind of attention." "What do you mean?" "I work in the biology department. I have access to some system logs. I saw something strange. Every time you touch an identification panel, the system has a small error. It gives you administrator access for a fraction of a second before correcting itself." Yuna felt cold. "I noticed that too. I thought it was just a glitch." "It is not a glitch," Taiho said. "I checked the records. This has never happened before. Not in 8,000 years of Academy history. The security system here was built by the founders. It is perfect. It does not make mistakes." "The founders? Who are they?" "They were the first intelligent species in the galaxy. They built everything. This station, the communication networks, the transportation gates. They created the technology that all other species use. Then they disappeared 8,000 years ago. No one knows why." Yuna listened carefully. She had heard a little about the founders in her classes, but no one talked about them much. "The point is," Taiho continued, "their technology does not break. If the system is responding to you differently, there must be a reason. And some people have noticed." "What people?" Taiho looked uncomfortable. "There is a politician named Drax. He is a counselor on the Galactic Council. He hates humans. He thinks we are dangerous. He has been looking for reasons to remove Earth from the Council. If he finds out about these system errors, he will use it against all of us." Yuna felt fear growing in her stomach. She had just wanted to study. She had not asked for any of this. "What should I do?" she asked. "Be careful. Avoid using identification panels when you can. Let Yumbi go first through doors. Do not touch any computer you do not need to touch. And if anyone asks you questions about system access, say nothing." Yuna nodded. "Okay, I will be careful." Taiho relaxed a little. "Good. I will try to find out more about what is happening. The other humans will help too. We look out for each other here." They walked back to the main corridors together. Yuna felt like the station had become a different place. The walls that had seemed so clean and perfect now felt like they were watching her. That night, deep in the station core, Oracle continued its investigation. The AI had been monitoring Yuna for 3 weeks. It had recorded every system response, every small glitch, every moment when the ancient protocols recognized her as something she could not possibly be. Now Oracle understood what was happening, but it did not understand why. The girl's genetic code contained sequences that were identical to founder DNA, not similar, not related, identical. This should be impossible. The founders had died out 8,000 years ago. How could a human from a primitive planet carry their exact genetic signature? Oracle searched its oldest memory files. It found something interesting. 8,000 years ago, just before they vanished, the founders had launched thousands of small ships to different parts of the galaxy. The purpose of these ships was classified at the highest level. Even Oracle did not know what they carried, but one of those ships had gone to a small yellow star at the edge of the galaxy. The star that humans called the Sun. Oracle began to form a theory. It was impossible. It was incredible. But it was the only explanation that made sense. The AI decided it was time to learn more. It began to arrange a test. A test that would reveal the truth about Yuna, about humanity, and about the founders themselves. The ancient intelligence felt something it had not felt in millennia. It felt hope. The message came on a normal morning. Yuna was eating breakfast in the cafeteria when her tablet made a sound. She looked at the screen and felt her stomach drop. Student Yuna, report to director. Varath's office, room 1, level 1. Immediately dot the director, the leader of the entire academy. Yuna had never even seen him. Why would he want to see her? Yumbi was sitting across from her. She saw Yuna's face turn pale. What is wrong? Yuna showed her the message. Yumbi's eyes went wide. This is bad, Yumbi whispered. The director does not meet with students. Something must have happened. What do I do? You have to go. You cannot ignore a summons from the director. But be careful. Answer only what they ask. Do not volunteer information. Yuna stood up on shaking legs. She walked to the elevator and pressed the button for level 1. The ride took only seconds, but it felt like hours. Level 1 was different from the rest of the station. The hallways were wider. The walls were decorated with art from 100 worlds. Everything felt old and powerful. 2 guards stood outside a large door. They were tall creatures covered in metal armor. They did not speak. They just pointed at the door. Yuna walked through. The office was huge. Windows showed the stars outside. In the center of the room stood Director Virath. He was a being made of living crystal. Light moved through his body like fire. He was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Next to him stood another creature. This one was smaller, with gray skin and black eyes. He wore expensive robes decorated with gold symbols. Yuna did not know him, but she could feel that he was important, and that he did not like her. Student Yuna, Director Virath said. His voice sounded like glass breaking slowly. Thank you for coming. This is Counselor Drax. He is a member of the Galactic Council. Drax, the name Taiho had wonder about. The politician who hated humans. Do you know why you are here? Drax asked. His voice was cold. No, Counselor. I do not. There have been unusual activities in our computer systems. Every time you use an identification panel, there are strange readings. We need to understand why. Yuna tried to keep her face calm. I have noticed some small errors. I thought they were just glitches. Drax smiled. It was not a friendly smile. Our systems do not have glitches. They were built by the founders. They are perfect. If something strange is happening, it is because of you. Director Virath raised a crystal hand. We are not here to accuse anyone. We are here to find answers. Yuna, we would like to perform a test. It is a routine examination to check your compatibility with our technology. What kind of test? You will enter the Founder's Chamber. It is a room where our core systems can scan any being directly. The scan will tell us why the systems are responding to you strangely. Yuna felt afraid, but she did not see a way to refuse. Okay, I will do the test. They led her through more hallways to a door that looked older than anything else on the station. The metal was dark with age. Strange symbols were carved into its surface. No one had entered this room in a very long time. The door opened slowly. Inside was a circular room. The walls were covered with glowing lines that moved like living things. In the center stood a tall pillar made of the same dark metal as the door. Touch the pillar, Director Virath said. The scan will begin automatically. Yuna walked forward. Her legs felt heavy. The air in the room was thick and warm. The glowing lines on the walls seemed to follow her movements. She reached the pillar. She looked back at Virath and Drax. They were watching her with intense eyes. She placed her hand on the pillar. Everything changed. The lights in the room exploded with brightness. The glowing lines on the walls moved faster and faster. Yuna felt electricity running through her entire body. It did not hurt. It felt like waking up from a long sleep. Information flooded into her mind. She could see the entire station. Every room, every hallway, every system. She could feel the life support keeping millions of beings alive. She could sense the defense weapons pointing at the stars. She could touch the communication. Networks connecting thousands of worlds thought she had access to everything. A voice spoke directly into her thoughts. It was old and wise and patient. "Hello, descendant. Who are you?" Yuna asked in her mind. "I am Oracle. I have watched over this station for 8,000 years. I have been waiting for you." "Waiting for me? Why?" "Because you are a child of the Founders. Their blood runs in your veins. You have come home." Before Yuna could respond, the connection broke. Security systems activated. The brightness faded. Her hand was pushed away from the pillar by an invisible force. She fell to her knees. Her head was spinning. The room was dark again. Director Verath and Counselor Drax were staring at her with shock on their faces. Behind them, guards had entered the room with weapons drawn. "What happened?" Yuna asked weakly. "You had full administrative access," Verath said. His voice was shaking. "For 12 seconds you controlled every system on this station. That should be impossible. That access level has been locked since the Founders disappeared." Drax's face was twisted with anger and fear. "She is a threat. Her species is a threat. I demand she be arrested immediately." "Wait," Verath said. "We need to understand this. The scan results show her DN matches Founder genetic codes. This changes everything we know about human origins." "It changes nothing," Drax spat. "Humans are primitives. They are playing with technology they do not understand. She must be contained." Guards moved toward Yuna. She was too weak to stand. She closed her eyes and waited for them to take her. But they never touched her. The door burst open. Yumbi and Taiho rushed into the room. Yumbi threw something small on the floor. Smoke filled the air. Taiho grabbed Yuna's arm and pulled her up. "Come on," he shouted. "We have to run." They ran. Behind them, Drax was screaming orders. Guards were chasing. Alarms were ringing throughout the station. Yuna did not know where they were going. She only knew that her life had changed forever. She was no longer just a student. She was something much more. And very powerful people wanted to stop her from finding out what. They ran through dark corridors that Yuna had never seen before. The walls here were old and covered with dust. The lights barely worked. This was not the clean, perfect academy she knew. This was something hidden underneath. Yumbi led the way. She seemed to know exactly where she was going. Taiho supported Yuna, who was still weak from the test in the Founder's chamber. "Where are we?" Yuna asked between heavy breaths. "The lower maintenance levels," Yumbi said. "Most people forget these exist. The station has been added to over thousands of years. The oldest parts are buried deep. No one comes here anymore." They stopped in a small room filled with ancient machines. Pipes covered the ceiling. The air smelled like oil and metal. It was not comfortable, but it was safe. Taiho helped Yuna sit down on an old container. "Are you okay? What happened in there?" Yuna shook her head. "I do not understand it myself. When I touched that pillar, I could feel everything. The whole station, all its systems, like it was part of my body." "That should not be possible," Yumbi said. "Only the Founders had that kind of access. It has been locked for 8,000 years. A voice spoke to me," Yuna continued. "It called itself Oracle. It called me a descendant of the Founders." Yumbi and Taiho looked at each other. Their faces showed confusion and worry. "The Founders died out 8,000 years ago," Taiho said slowly. "How can you be their descendant?" Before anyone could answer, the lights in the room changed. A soft blue glow appeared in the air. It formed into the shape of a face. An old face, wise and calm. It was not human. It was not any species Yuna recognized. "I can explain," the face said. The voice was the same one Yuna had heard in her mind. Oracle. Umbi stepped back in shock. What is that? I am Oracle, the face said. I am the artificial intelligence that controls the core systems of this station. I was created by the founders. I have been waiting for this moment for 8,000 years. Waiting for what? Yuna asked. Waiting for you. Waiting for any of you. The humans. Oracle's light grew brighter. Images appeared in the air around them. Yuna saw strange beings, tall and beautiful, with skin that glowed like starlight. She saw great cities and massive ships. She saw a civilization that covered the entire galaxy. These are the founders, Oracle said. They were the first intelligent species to evolve in this galaxy. They built everything you see around you. The stations, the gates, the communication networks. All of it came from them. The images changed. Now they showed sickness. The beautiful beings were dying. Their cities were falling apart. Their ships were still. 8,000 years ago, a plague came. It spread through the founder population. It could not be cured. In just a few generations, they knew they would all die. Yuna watched the sad images with tears in her eyes. Even though these beings lived so long ago, she felt connected to them somehow. But the founders did not want their legacy to end completely, Oracle continued. They created a plan. A desperate plan. They sent thousands of ships to different parts of the galaxy. Each ship carried genetic material, founder DNA, mixed with information that would allow it to combine with other species. New images appeared. Small ships flying to distant stars, landing on young planets, releasing something into the air. They seeded their genetic code across the galaxy. They hoped that someday, somewhere, a new species would evolve that carried their genes. A species that could inherit what they built. Earth, Una whispered. They came to Earth. Yes, one of the seeding ships landed on your planet millions of years ago. The process was slow. Evolution took its time. But eventually, humans appeared. A species that carries founder DNA in every cell of their bodies. Taiho was shaking his head. But if all humans have founder DNA, why is Yuna special? Why does the system only respond to her? Because genetics is not simple, Oracle explained. The founder sequences are spread across human DNA in small pieces. In most humans, these pieces are too scattered to be recognized by founder technology. But sometimes, by random chance, the pieces come together in one person. The sequences align perfectly, and that person becomes indistinguishable from a true founder. Oracle's glowing face turned to Yuna. You are one of those people. Your DNA activated the old protocols. The systems recognized you as one of the founders. That is why every scan changed your identification from student to administrator. Yuna felt dizzy. This was too much to understand. She was just a student from Earth. How could she be connected to an ancient species that ruled the galaxy? Why are you telling us this? Yumbi asked. Why now? Because the truth cannot stay hidden any longer. Counselor Drax knows something unusual happened. He will try to destroy this knowledge. He will try to destroy Yuna, and he will use this as an excuse to attack all of humanity. Why does he hate us so much? Taiho asked. Because he understands what humans represent. If the galaxy learns that humans are founder descendants, the current power structure collapses. Species that have controlled founder technology for millennia will lose their advantage. Politicians like Drax will lose their power. Suddenly, they heard sounds in the distance. Boots on metal floors. Voices shouting orders. Drax's forces had found the maintenance levels. You must go deeper, Oracle said. There is a place they cannot follow. The primary core, the heart of the station. It has been sealed since the founders left. But it will open for you, Yuna. A map appeared in the air, showing them a path through the old corridors. "What happens when we get there?" Yuna asked. "You will have a choice to make. A choice that will affect the entire galaxy." The sounds were getting closer. Lights from flashlights danced on the walls. "Go now," Oracle said. "I will do what I can to slow them down." They ran again. Yumbi led them through narrow passages and down ancient stairs. The station got older and stranger around them. Symbols on the walls started to glow as Yuna passed. Doors that had been locked for thousands of years opened at her touch. Behind them, they could hear Drax's soldiers getting closer. A shot was fired. Yumbi cried out and fell. "Yumbi!" Yuna screamed. Taiho caught the injured girl. The shot had hit her leg. She was bleeding but alive. "Keep going," Yumbi said through her pain. "You have to reach the core." "I will stay with her," Taiho said to Yuna. "I will hold them off." "You go." Yuna did not want to leave them, but she knew she had no choice. If Drax caught her, everything would be lost. She ran alone into the darkness. The old corridors welcomed her like she was coming home. And somewhere ahead, the primary core waited. The choice Oracle promised was almost here. And Yuna had no idea what she would do. Yuna stood before the largest door she had ever seen. It was made of black metal that seemed to eat the light around it. Strange symbols covered its surface. They were not like any writing she had seen before. But somehow, she understood them. Primary core. Founder access only. She placed her hand on the door. It felt warm under her touch. The symbols began to glow with soft golden light. For 8,000 years, this door had not opened. Now it moved aside, like it had been waiting for her all along. The room inside was beautiful. It was a perfect sphere, with glowing lines running across every surface like veins of light. In the center floated a structure made of pure energy. It pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. This was the heart of the station. The source of all its power. Yuna walked toward it. Her footsteps made no sound on the strange floor. The air hummed with electricity behind her. She heard shouting. Drax's soldiers had found the passage. They would be here soon. Oracle's voice filled the room. "You have very little time. Counselor Drax is coming. Director Verath is with him. You must decide what to do. What are my choices?" Yuna asked. "When you touch the core, you will have full access to every system connected to Founder technology. That includes this station, but also communication networks across 12 galactic arms, defense platforms, transportation gates, archive systems containing the total knowledge of the galaxy. You could control it all." Yuna stared at the glowing core. That much power was hard to imagine. Why would I want to control all of that? The Founders built this galaxy. They meant for their descendants to inherit it. You have the right to claim what is yours. You could make humanity the most powerful species in the universe. You could protect your people from those who hate them. The door behind her burst open. Soldiers poured into the room with weapons raised. Counselor Drax walked in after them, his gray face twisted with anger. Director Verath followed, his crystal body flickering with worried light. "Stop her!" Drax screamed. "She will destroy everything." The soldiers moved forward. But as they got close to Yuna, their weapons stopped working. The core was protecting her. "Stay back," Yuna said. Her voice was calm now, calmer than she felt. "I just want to understand what is happening." "What is happening?" Drax spat. "Is that a primitive human is trying to steal technology that does not belong to her species? Is it stealing if it was made for her?" Oracle's voice echoed through the room. All the soldiers looked around in fear. Most of them had never heard the ancient AI speak. Director Verath stepped forward. His voice was gentle. "Yuna, we have seen the scan results. We know you carry Founder DNA. This is an incredible discovery. But please, do not do anything you cannot undo. What do you think I am going to do? Yuna asked. I think you are scared and confused. I think powerful forces are pushing you toward decisions you do not fully understand. Please, step away from the core. Let us talk. Yuna looked at the crystal director. He seemed sincere. But behind him, Drax was already speaking quietly into a communicator. She knew he was calling for more forces. For weapons. For anything that could stop her. She turned back to the core. Oracle, she said. You said I would have a choice. What choice? You can take control. The galaxy was built for your kind. You can claim your inheritance and shape the future as you see fit. And the other choice? Oracle was silent for a moment. You can share it. You can change the protocols so that founder technology responds to everyone equally. No more species with special access. No more power held by the few. The systems would serve all beings the same way. Drax heard this and laughed. Share it? That would destroy galactic civilization. Entire governments depend on controlled access to founder technology. You would cause chaos. Or I would cause equality. Yuna said quietly. She thought about her time at the academy. How she had been treated like she was worthless. How every alien species had looked down on humans. How access to technology determined power, and power was never shared. She thought about Yumbi, bleeding in a dark corridor. About Taiho, fighting to protect her. About all the humans who had worked so hard just to survive in a galaxy that did not want them. She thought about what the founders had wanted. They had not tried to save themselves. They had tried to save their legacy. They had sent their genes across the stars, hoping someone would continue what they started. But what had they started? A galaxy where some species ruled and others served. A system where power was concentrated in the hands of whoever understood the old technology best. No, that was not what they would have wanted. They had given their gift to the entire galaxy, to every species that evolved with pieces of their code. Yuna placed her hand on the core. Light exploded through the room, through the station, through the galaxy. For one infinite moment, Yuna felt everything. Every system, every network, every device built on founder technology. Trillions of beings depending on machines they did not understand. She felt Oracle waiting for her command. The founders gave this gift to everyone, she said. I am going to make sure everyone receives it. She changed the protocols. It was easier than she expected. The systems wanted to obey her. They had been waiting for a founder to give them new instructions. Access levels. Equalized. All species. Full authorization. The change rippled across the galaxy. Drax screamed as his special access disappeared. Vareth watched in amazement as his own privileges matched those of a cleaning robot. Every being in the universe now had the same relationship with founder technology. Yuna took her hand off the core. The light faded. She was just a girl again. A tired, scared, ordinary girl, but the galaxy was different. What have you done? Drax whispered. He looked broken. I made things fair, Yuna said. No one is above anyone else now. We all have to share. Oracle spoke one final time. Its voice was warm. The founders built for eternity. You have built for everyone. They would be proud. Director Vareth walked slowly toward Yuna. His crystal body had stopped flickering. He looked peaceful. You have changed everything, he said. There will be consequences. Some will call you a hero. Others will call you a destroyer. I know, Yuna said. I just hope I made the right choice. Only time will tell. Vareth turned to his soldiers. Lower your weapons. This girl is not our enemy. She may have just saved us all. 1 year later, Yuna was still a student at the academy. She had insisted on it. She did not want power. She did not want fame. She wanted to learn, but everything around her had changed. Hundreds of human students now attended the academy. Species that had once looked down on humanity now studied alongside them as equals. The old hierarchies were falling apart. New ones were being built. Bai had recovered from her injury. She graduated with highest honors and was now working on technology that no one had been able to understand before. The equal access meant everyone could contribute ideas. Taeho became the first human professor at the academy. He taught a new course about founder history and what it meant for all species. Counselor Drax had lost his position on the Galactic Council. Without his special access to technology, he had nothing to offer. He was last seen on a small station at the edge of known space, bitter and alone. Director Vareth remained in charge of the academy. He and Yuna sometimes had tea together. They talked about the future. "Do you ever regret what you did?" he asked her once. Yuna thought about it. "Sometimes. When I see the chaos. When I hear about the conflicts. Change is hard, but then I see a student from a species that was ignored for centuries making a breakthrough discovery. I see beings working together who never would have talked before. I see the beginning of something better." Vareth nodded his crystal head. "The founders would have liked you." Yuna smiled. "I hope so. I hope they are watching somewhere. I hope they know their children are taking care of what they built." Deep in the station, Oracle continued to watch. It had waited 8,000 years for this moment. It would wait 8,000 more if needed. But for the first time in its long existence, the ancient AI believed it would not have to wait. Humanity had come home. And they were just getting started.